Hi everyone, it's Plastic EP here, and I've got part of the panel here, and today we're going to do the Rutles 2. And what's the name of the album, Mr. Shampoo?
It's called Archaeology, is it?
That's the one. We can't miss it. Now listen, they've got everything there for us. Are you feeling groovy, guys?
Feeling very groovy.
Feeling groovy.
And if you're watching this show, make sure you start sending texts. We're here to answer your questions. Hey bananas, we think you're groovy. Hey bananas, we watch your movie. Yeah. Drive your tune buggies everywhere, just going crazy without a care. Hey bananas, we think you're groovy. Yeah, hey bananas, we think you're groovy. Now let me tell you, Plastic EP after this show will only have 10 shows to go to his 500 show, the big achievement within 15 months. And I just want to say thank you everybody for sending me emails and messages. Keep it up. We're organising the show now as we speak. We're not too far away. So how exciting is that, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, congratulations, Plastic. I mean, you know, we've been there with 100, 200, 300, 400. We've been there all the way. Now it's 5.
I know Mark looks exhausted.
I don't know how you do it. I've only done 122 myself, 123.
Okay, now show us what you got to show us on the Rutles 2 Archaeology. Show us first, Fred, what you've got.
Okay, I got the original album, which is the 16-track one. Mark has a nicer one. He has more tracks on his. Plus, I got the British EP that includes 2 of the bonus tracks, and Shangri-La is the main song. And also, about the Rutles, I've got the original DVD release that came out some years ago, plus the Blu-ray, which includes a high-definition version of the first movie, plus the what is it? Can't Buy Me Lunch sequel.
That one.
So there it is, and Mr. Shampoo has it too. There it is.
Amazing. What have you got, Mark?
Okay, so I have what Fred alluded to, the Japanese version of Archaeology. I pulled out the booklet because in the Japanese version, not only are there 4 extra tracks, it has a nice little fold-out, if you can read Japanese, in Japanese about the group. And there's some parts in English that has a message for our Japanese friends and everything else like that. So it's just kind of a nice...
Just read it in Japanese for us, Mark, will you?
Mark, does it have the lyrics to that unreleased Rutles song, If You Knew Sushi, Like I Knew Sushi?
No, but it does say this about the 3 bonus tracks. It actually talks about it in English, so I can actually read it in English. So anyway, but
what does it say?
Japanese. I'm not going to attempt to do Pitkin Japanese. What does it say? Well, it says a special treat for all of our loyal fans of Japan. We've included 3 bonus tracks on this disc, which are not available on the Archaeology album released in the rest of the world. These are very rare recordings, and we hope you enjoy them.
Fantastic. What else you got to show us?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I showed this last time, but I'll bring it out again. This is where it all started. It was on the Rutland Weekend Television. This is Eric Idle on... This one's Eric Idle, not this one. And, that's where the Rutles were first created, although they first appeared because of just timing on Saturday Night Live. Eric Idle was hosting.
Can you bring it closer? I can't see that cover.
What, do you want to see here?
Okay, and show me the other bit there. What is he doing? And what's the title say? It's
called the Rutland Dirty Weekend Book, and this is supposed to be what's the joke is about this is they have, and this actually appeared in Playboy, is the Vatican sex manual. And it has different sex positions, which aren't very exciting. And actually, the funniest one is the last one.
That's okay. Keep that to yourself there. That's fine.
Like separate beds.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to move on now to the songs. But before we do, we'll say a big hello to Shani. She's saying evening, chap. She's coming in from the UK.
Hello.
Shani does paintings. Shani does some fantastic artwork on the back of leather jackets. She's great. So big hello to you out there in the UK. Now,
he's probably seen.
We're going to start the show now. I want to start off with the first song, which I like. Major Happy's Up and Coming. What's up and coming?
Once Upon a Good Time Band.
That's it. Thank you. It doesn't come up on iTunes. It's about 4 million words there. Thank you. Now, Mr. Shampoo, what do you think of it?
Well, Plastic, you know, this album was made in 1996, and it was specially made because the Beatles had their anthology album out. And this album was made with John Halsey, Ricky Fattar, and Neil Innes. And Ollie had passed in 1992, so he couldn't play any guitar except for some of the old tracks. And, you know, this particular song sounds like, you know, a little bit of Sgt. Pepper, a little bit of Little Help My Friends, Good Day Sunshine. You know, it's supposed to sound like, and it sounds a little bit like While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And it's supposed to be a take on Sgt. Pepper, but it's Nasty that sings it. So, you know, it's a little bit not true, but it's a great song. You know,
it's a little bit me, it's a little bit you. What is it, Fred? Do you like the song?
Oh, I like the title you just gave. But
show me your books now since you've shown us. What are your 2 books there?
Oh, okay. We're gonna do plugging again. Okay.
Yeah, and also you're going to be on the Fab 4 event. Tell us about that, the signing you're going to do. Tell us about that, Charles's event on July the 10th.
July the 10th in Connecticut. There's a Fab 4 music festival website and also Facebook page. You could get all the information on there. And I'll be there on July 10th with Michael Ventrella, right? Mark's partner, signing books. He'll be bringing his books. I'll be bringing mine. Plus my Monkeys themed Christmas CD. And my books again, a little bit me, a little bit you, the Monkeys from a fan's perspective. And the new one, a little bit me, a little bit you too, the Monkeys from international fan perspectives. So
fantastic. Now, as I said, go and buy those books. There's 10 Beatle bands playing at that event. There's plenty of merchandise, plenty of food. I don't know why you're not there, Mr. Shampoo. You should be there. Now, what books have you got, Mark?
The only one I have to show right away, and I get more later, is my own book about the Beatles called Mark Arnold Picks on the Beatles. It's my reviews, group and solo, released and unreleased, and there's lots of different artwork, like on the back cover, and inside there's other pieces of artwork. There's one of Backstage Pass, you know, different things in there.
Fantastic. There's so many Beatle books coming out every day. Make sure you go to your bank and get a bank loan to be able to pay for these Beatle books that come out every week. And let me tell you now, Fred, what do you think of the song Major Happy's Up and Coming?
I like it. It's a fun homage to the Sgt. Pepper song. You hear all the little bits, all the little jokes that are in the song, and also the little talking bits as well. So it's a fun little song. It's a nice, and there's a cat, Mr. Shampoo's cat, and it's just you could tell that the whole CD was made with love for the Beatles, and George Harrison actually gave his blessings on the whole project. When Neil asked him, "I'm going to do another Rutles album, is that okay?" He says, George said, "Go ahead. It's all part of the soup. It's all part of the soup." So,
Mark, what do you think of the song?
I like it pretty well, but I'll tell you the truth. The first time I heard it, I was a little bit scared, I guess is the lack of word, because I said, can they make these songs as good as the first album? I was like, ugh. And I thought it too derivative. I love it now, but I mean, for the first song in the album, I said, oh, this is really kind of corny. But
it was a bit scary, wasn't it?
It was scary, yeah. But then it grew on me, and I love this album as much as the first.
Great. Now, second song, Rendezvous. What do you think of it, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, you know, you have to realize that this album was made at least 20 years after the first one, and, you know, they should have done it a lot sooner. I had heard that Eric Idle wasn't too happy about this album. I don't think he supported it. I don't know if that's true. Do you guys know if that was true?
Yeah, he wasn't on it.
He's thanked or he was credited for having created the original. So they at least acknowledged that he was involved. And I think the early promos on the album was that we like regarding Dirk says we're sorry to say that Dirk has tragically gone into comedy.
Well, this song's a bit like Penny Lane, and I think it's a great song. I mean, I think it's Barry that's singing this song, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. I just love his mockery of Ringo. It's just perfect,
Fred, what do you think of it?
It's another fun song. It's their take on "Little Help from My Friends." So it follows the Major Happy song, so it blends perfectly. And the song is a goof because he's complaining and all that, and he says, "Wait a minute, who are you guys? Because we're the other members of the band." So what are you doing here? They're having a conversation within the song, which makes it even funnier.
Mark.
Yeah, this is where I started actually liking the album, because after the first song, I was saying, where's this going? And then I go, oh, okay, they did the segue, and there's some funny bits in here. Okay, I'm listening. Okay. To answer your question, Mr. Shampoo, I think after Eric Idle knew about the Archaeology, then he did that Rutles DVD as his response, saying, okay, I can do a sequel too. And he did. So.
And he used some of the songs from Archaeology, and I don't think he paid him for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next song questionnaire. I actually like it. Mr. Shampoo?
Well, I mean, the Rutles, the first album, they had it all written for that complete video film. But this album was composed of leftover tracks from that period and some new stuff. So it was a little bit different, just like the anthology. This song definitely got references to Fool on the Hill, I'm a Walrus, Eleanor Rigby, Piggies, Walrus. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit hard to figure out sometimes what's going on with these songs, because sometimes they put references of their solo material, if you listen real carefully. Fred?
It's a clever song because the way it starts, you're not sure how it's going to go. And then you realize that the protagonist is a guy in the street asking questions of passerbys. And it's funny. It's very funny. And the last thing he asks is about the guns. And that's obviously a pointed thing regarding John Lennon. It was like a commentary. It was the very last lyric. But the whole album is fun. And it's a clever song.
Mark.
This one I find very catchy. In fact, I would say out of all the songs, this was probably the first one I started singing to myself, if you believe it or not, because I just like the yes, no, I don't know, I don't care. It's only a questionnaire, I just like the chorus line. And yeah, it's a very catchy tune. It's probably the catchiest one so far. There's others on the album, we'll get to them, but this is a very good song.
Also, I think the next song, We've Arrived, and we're here to prove it. I think it is. That's a great song too. What do you think of that, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, as you know, it starts out like back in USSR, and I don't know if it was the very first All You Need Is Cash or this particular song, but they used a hairdryer to create that gem. It's perfect because it's a parody, and you've got references of Revolution, and there's laughing in this song, like the outtake of Andrew Bird Can Sing on Anthology. So they kind of make fun of that too. Brad?
Yeah, it's a clever parody of back in the USSR, and it's one of the outtakes from the first Rutles that they didn't use for the first film, but they used it for this one, and it's a homage to Ali Halsey. What was his last name?
Halsey or something.
Halsey, right? Lepo in the Rutles.
That's right.
And I think it's him that's singing lead on that. Mm-hmm. So they put it in there as a homage to him. But again, the whole thing is just clever.
Here he is, Charlie DeCosta coming in from.
Hey,
you guys.
howdy ho.
It has been a long time.
Yes,
And you've arrived. We're just doing the song You've Arrived.
I'm here.
you've arrived.
Yay!
And to prove it, he's here.
Yeah.
So, Fred, have you said enough on that song?
I'm sorry?
That song, We've Arrived. Have you said what you need to say on it?
Yeah, and I think Mark was next.
Okay, Mark, tell us what you think.
Okay, at this point, I'm laughing out loud at this album. So it's like, I just love it. You know, just the title. I've heard that phrase before, but you actually use it in connection with the Beatles. It just was like perfect. It was like the funniest thing. And so I said, I'm sold on this album. This is great. So,
Right, Charlie, what do you think of We've Arrived?
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that it sounds, you know, like an. Hey, Mr. Shampoo, how you doing?
How you doing, Charlie? Welcome back to the Plastic EP Show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love the fact that it just sounds like them, like having fun in the studio, and I don't know if it was meant to sound like that or if it was really like that, but it sounds very spontaneous. The way after the guitar solo, no, I'm thinking about a different song. This is, and we've arrived at the proof that we hear. They stop and then they go back into it, right? It's good stuff. Love it.
Charlie, I'll just get you to turn up your mic. Are you outside in the backyard or something?
No, I'm outside of the backyard. No, it's my house.
it's a big fan.
Hey, you got to turn up your mic there. You're coming in like you're squeaking.
All right, well, hold on a second here. Let's see. Audio. It says
Just a bit more
automatically
volume.
adjust the microphone. Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great.
Right. All right, now we move on to the next track. Lonely Phobia. What do you think of that, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, Plastic EP, you know it's so obvious that they're trying to do things we said today. And, you know, the acoustic guitar and the Hofner bass just sound great in that song. And they do the lead piano like Anytime at All or Hard Day's Night. And, you know, some of these songs are wonderful songs on this album. So, yeah, I definitely like that one because, you know, I love Things We Said Today. That's one of my favorite songs.
Fantastic. Now, again, Charlie, what do you think of Lonely Phobia?
I love it. You know what? I'm going to say I love it on every track on this album and the album before that I missed. I'm so sorry. I wasn't here. But I was with you in spirit.
But to prove it, he's there.
Maybe you.
This one.
Yes, I've got that in the garage. I couldn't find it though. I found this one, and then I have my DVD here.
Ooh.
Did we talk about the fact that the DVD is put into a different format, so everything's cut? The top and bottom are cut. Anyway,
Can you show that first CD for a minute there, Mark, the red one?
Sure.
Wait a minute. You know why you got that one, Charlie?
I've got it around here
No,
somewhere.
you're not listening. Do you know why you got that CD?
Why?
Because it matches the color of your car.
It does.
They did a swirl label on this one. Ooh.
That's great. Oh man, it's just fantastic. Now you guys might have done a little bit of digging into which songs were actually pre-recorded during the original sessions and which songs were done by Neil Innes afterwards, like for new recordings for this.
Well, We Arrived, it was one of the outtakes.
From the original?
Yeah.
Well, anything that has Ollie Halsall will be original because he didn't participate.
He didn't survive to.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is I was born in '76, right? So that's post Beatles, and by the time I was buying these records, the whole Beatle catalog was done, and honestly, the Rutles was what, 78. So with the original album, it was all done. So it's like I got hit with all the Beatles stuff and all the Rutles stuff. It was like complete catalogs as soon as I jumped into it. And when Anthology came out, a lot of that stuff, honestly, I had heard in bootlegs. But none of this I had heard in bootlegs. So I was super pumped about when Archaeology came out. The only thing is, I heard an interview with Barry Wom recently, or the actor John Halsey,
Right.
and he said that originally it was supposed to be called Analogy. The album was supposed to be called Analogy, but they said American audiences wouldn't know what an analogy was, so they changed it to Archaeology. Yeah, I was kind of like,
Archaeology
well,
actually is funnier, but anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought so too. This is another great track. Fred.
Let's see. We're talking about Lonely Phobia. I like the song. I'm glad that Mr. Shampoo pointed out the songs that it sounds like. For the longest time, I'm trying to figure out which Beatles song is this supposed to be? Which one? Which one? It sounds like a bunch of them, but I'm like, I can't put my finger on the exact one. The things you said today, that now it makes a little bit more sense to me. That it does have that vibe to it. And the things we said today is one of my favorite early 1964 Beatles songs. So um, uh, it's and it took me a while to get into that particular song. I think that's one of the songs that could almost be considered filler, but not exactly because all the songs are good. It's just that this one, when you look at the other songs on the album, this one is not as strong, but it's still good. So it's a good fun little song.
Mark.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. But then, hey, after about 4 or 5 really good, strong songs, it's okay to have a little bit of filler. And even the worst Rutles track is great. I mean, I love those bonus tracks on the album that hopefully I'll get to at least mention when we get there. So they're all good.
Fantastic. Now, Mr. Shampoo, we'll keep it moving. Unfinished words.
Well, I'm glad that, when they did this album, they ended up using the same bass guitars, the Rickenbacker and the Hofner, and you clearly hear the Rick on this one. And the song sounds a bit like Between Us, like they rewrote the song. So some of these songs sound like they've been rewritten to me, but they're all good, Fred?
Oh, is it Charlie or me?
Charlie, sorry.
So he does a callback on this song. He unfinished words like these, unfinished words like cheese and onions. So he does a callback to one of his previously written songs, and left is right and right is wrong. This is him doing wordplay a la Lennon, and he does it well. I don't like anchovies on top of strawberries and cream, I think is one of the lines. So it's so great. It's so great. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I have a real problem calling the music parody. The movie was parody. The music is inspired by. It's good music. It's good, well-written music with fun lyrics that make more sense than a lot of songs that, become popular. I don't find the music, I love the music. I don't find it parody. I don't find anything funny about it. I just feel it's influence and well written. Fred.
Yes, unfinished words. I think that's a reference also to not only the archaeology, but I think perhaps anthology also. A lot of the stuff is unfinished music that they put together. I think it's the title of the song and the lyrics are sort of like a reference to that. You made a point about something earlier, Charlie. Can you repeat some of the stuff you said?
I don't know what I said.
He was talking about parody. I don't know if that brings it up.
About the parodies?
Parody versus not parody.
About Lennon's writing, the kind of verbal spew writing, that kind of thing?
Something like that. Regarding the songs themselves, I remember that Neil Innes, for the first Rutles, he did not write the songs for the first Rutles album. He didn't want to hear the original Beatles songs. He wanted to use the memory of those songs as a reference point in writing the songs. And it worked. And, by using that memory, he was able to recreate these songs and gave it the perfect Beatle touch to all of them. So Unfinished Words, I think, is that type of song that it references some Beatles songs while you can't put your finger on which one exactly, but they're like all in there.
Influence.
Mark.
I will tell you the difference between parody and inspired. Weird Al does both of them. So Eat It is a parody of Beat It by Michael Jackson, whereas Dare to Be Stupid is an homage inspired by Devo's type of song. So there's a difference. Rutles is more like that instead of a direct change your lyrics parody, except for Get Up and Go. Anyway, if you see the last show, you'll understand why I say that. Unfinished Words also makes reference to Pink Litmus Paper Shirt, which was a supposedly famous unreleased Beatles track. I think it was just an early title for something else. I think we found out later. And there's something else that was on the lyrics here. Oh, yeah, he mentioned Spam, which is kind of like a nod to Monty Python since he was friends with Eric Idle. So, yeah, it's another good song. And,
all right, next song, Hey Mister. Carry on from there. I'll be back, Mr. Shampoo. So the next song's Hey Mister.
All right. Well, this particular song reminds me of I Me Mine, Revolution, you know, a little bit of new and old. So I think it's a great song. Charlie?
Spot on. I would have said I Me Mine as well. It goes 3/4 time into kind of a 4/4 straight ahead rock thing. And that guitar work is pretty cool. So, yeah, I love this one. Fred.
I think the song has a little bit of Norwegian Wood in there. If you listen to the beginning and compare it to and you could hear like a Norwegian Wood in there, and then it goes into like a Revolution rockin' right in the center there. So again, it's a pastiche of different Beatles songs all mixed into one. So it's fun and it's clever. Mark.
It's been a while since I've heard this one because I actually didn't re-listen to this album before doing this. I just said, I'll do it. And so I'm thinking, what does this one sound like? But I remember liking it. So I will have to listen to this album again. And I'll say, hey, I give it a thumbs up. Hey, mister. I don't know. I remember the next one, but we'll have Mr. Shampoo announce that one.
And they do a callback to Get Up and Go in this one. They use the lyric.
Yeah, they do.
When you woke up this morning, did you get up and go? So it was another one that called back to the original CD.
Yes.
Well, I think this is a great album, but I wish Ollie had lived and played more guitar on this album because I think it lacks a little bit of his spirit on Archaeology. But, you know, still good, you know. The next song we're doing is Hey Mister, right?
No, we just
did Hey Mister.
Easy Listening.
Oh, Easy Listening. Well, oh, come on, man. That's Act Naturally all the way, isn't it?
Yep.
A little bit of Octopus.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end, it's got what's neat at the end. It's got the She Loves You fifth, but they're not doing it with the voices. They're doing it with the guitar.
Mm.
And that's how clever they were in references to the Beatles. And, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, there was Klaatu, there was Rutles, you know, everyone cashing in on the Beatles stuff. So, you know, I thought Klaatu and all those other bands, and, you know, they all sounded like the Rutles, you know. Even Oasis, they all sounded like the Rutles. You know, we have to credit the Rutles for doing it. I mean, Neil Lyons and Eric Idle, they were geniuses, right? You know.
Well, what did Neil Innes said that he thought that Ruttle should be a verb, to Ruttle, and that even the Beatles were ruttling their influences.
Ruttling Orange Field.
You know, with all of the when I think of the other groups that did, you know, Beatlesque albums, Todd Rundgren did it, and I know there's a bunch. You mentioned Klaatu. There's a bunch more we can think of. Nobody did it like this. You know, to me, there's just no. And this as a follow up to the original, just fantastic. Easy listening, like you said. I mean, it's a country. You know, it's kind of a country sit back, and you think these things are easy to write. They're not easy to write because I know for me, I could sit here and probably sing 3/4 of the lyrics close to right on this whole album and grab a guitar just like I'm playing any of my favorite music. Easy listening is just a great feeling little country ditty, and if you're gonna harken back to Ringo, it's perfect.
But I wonder why they had the video of the movie, but they never put the song on the album until, you know.
Oh, easy listening.
Yeah, the videos, Ringo's or Barry's playing in the movie. Easy listening, right?
Well, I thought he was playing "Living in Hope."
Living in Hope is the song in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw a video. Maybe it's the same video, but they put in easy listening.
Might be.
It might be.
Might be. Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, they had to have a Ringo song in here, a Barry Wham song. You know, it was perfect because it called back all those great Ringo songs like Act Naturally, uh, uh, Match, Matchbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honey
Matchbox. Honey Don't, exactly. And it's just, it's just a salad of those songs, basically.
What goes
Yeah.
on?
And you have John Halsey, Barry Wham singing it, which is great. And I just recently just found out, I didn't know this, that he had put out a song as Barry Wham called Enough that you can find on iTunes and Amazon Music. And there's a YouTube video that's put together, and it's very funny. It's another homage to the Rutles. You got to see the video. It's called Enough with Barry Wham with his band Wham Direction. So, so it's a clever little video. It's a clever little song, and he's singing it. And there's a little brief tribute to Neil Innes in it. So you got to watch the whole video, especially the beginning. I think you'll get it. But but to hear a Ringo-like song in this, perfect, absolutely perfect. Mark.
And one thing I'll say that nobody said, because there's callback lyrics, they do say, "Why don't we do that? It's in the road," in this lyric. I don't know much else to say. I was trying to piggyback on everybody else. So, another one that tried to be like the Beatles and has middling success was Emmett Rhodes. He was another one. And then, of course, Badfinger. So, they all tried and did relative different levels of success. But, yeah, the Rutles probably came off probably close to the best, if not the best.
Well, they had the blessing of one Beatle, at least.
True.
And Ringo loved it. Ringo loved the Rutles.
I think
they all did, but I think Paul was the only one that had a little trouble with it.
Paul was a holdout. It turned out that Linda really loved the Rutles, and she in fact really loved Eric Idle's Dirk McQuickley. So eventually Paul got to liking it after he kind of got over the butthurtness of them making fun of him.
Well, John Lennon liked it, but he warned them about Get Up and Go.
Yeah, but he wouldn't return the copy of the film, so I think that's telling that he wouldn't return it. He loved it so much.
Right.
And of course, George was in it. So.
And Charlie, did we get you?
Yeah, you got me.
Okay, I guess it's Mr. Shampoo again.
Well, I guess we're on to
Now She Left You.
Now She's Left You. Yeah, that's like You're Gonna Lose That Girl, and there's dogs barking in there like pet sounds. So that's got nothing to do with the Beatles, but that's just how brilliant that if you know enough music, you'll hear soul references, Beatles song references. It's pretty cool. It's all fun again to have more Rutles tunes and try to figure out what's going on with the songs. Charlie.
I did about a year and a half with a Orlando group called. Hey, you have a kitty cat back there.
Yeah.
That's the name of the group. Wow.
I did about yeah, that's it. I did about a year and a half with a group called the Redcoats out of Orlando, and you could hear the Redcoats. They were the band that played the backing music on Alf Bicknell's DVD, Beatles DVD. He was the Beatles driver. Anyway. When we did a few spin-off gigs, I had the band learn this one. We did this one live. And the cool part about it is if you dig into the recording, after the guitar solo, when it comes back in, you expect it to come back in with the same harmonies that's in the rest of the song, but it's only Innes who comes in for the first part of the last verse, and then the other vocalist comes in and sings the harmony. And my guess is that it's kind of an outtake-ish kind of thing. But I love the feel of this. This was one that my wife, when we first got this album, she heard it and she's like, "That's my favorite track." So as soon as my wife said it was her favorite track, I made the band learn it. Fred.
Yeah. No, She Left You. It's a good song. I think that is one of the outtakes that were redone for this album. It's really good. Which song would you say that it's most reminiscent of?
Now She's Left You?
Yeah.
You're gonna lose it.
It's got references to You're Gonna Lose That Girl. I Want to See a Party.
It has that vibe to it. Of those, or even Girl, you know, when I think about it. It has that kind of vibe of acoustic feel to it, with a bit of electric in there as well. So I mean, it's just it's just well done. It's they did a great job in putting the songs together to make them sound like a Beatles song, but you can't grasp which one is it. Which one is it?
Great bridge.
That's the beauty of it. Mark.
Yeah, another kind of pseudo lyric copying again. They talk about another guy and You Cannot Hide. Just similar things. Charles Rosenay comes on and he says, "Hi guys, great panel. Thank you for mentioning some website I can't read now. Just kidding. www.fabmusicfestival.com."
Yes.
Now let me tell you, there's 10 fantastic Beatle bands there. There's merchandise. There's plenty of food. So, I mean, you're going to have a great time there, Fred, aren't you?
And there's going to be a Monkeys band there, too.
And you'll also be signing your fabulous 2 books. And Michael will be signing as well. How great's that?
And
show us your books there. You showed us one, didn't you, Mark?
I can show you the Monkeys one, but I have to go get it. It's back here.
So
you go and get it. And while we're waiting, all the best to you, Charles. Enjoy your beautiful day out there today. And I know you can't join us because you're busy.
Here they
Yes,
are.
A big salute to Charles on the Fab 4 Festival event. There you go. Tell us about the books.
Don't let Charles tell you that he's too busy. He's not busy. He's sitting home in his pajamas.
No, he's busy. I know where he is. Don't worry about it.
Oprah.
Go and show us the books, Mark.
He could be here.
Okay. If you go to see Fred at Charles's expo, there will be his books and also these books with Michael Ventrella. Long title, Looking for the Good Times, and headquartered A Timeline of the Monkeys solo years. We both co-wrote those, and they should be available along with Michael Ventrella's Beatle book too.
And Mike,
fantastic.
If Michael's watching, I'm bringing my copy so you could sign them. Okay.
Right, now let's move on to the next track. What's the next track, Mr. Shampoo?
Knicker.
The Knicker Elastic King.
Yeah, that one.
The Knicker Elastic King. What do you think of that, Mr. Shampoo? Cutting your hair.
It reminds me of Getting Better, Penny Lane, Double Back Alley. All these songs remind me of all those songs, so that's what it does for me. Charles?
What does it do for you, Charlie?
Yeah. What, Knicker Elastic King?
Yeah.
Reminiscent of that, obviously going for that kind of Penny Lane-ish, not necessarily as on the nose as Double Back Alley, but certainly that kind of Sgt. Peppery, Magical Mystery Tory sound, and nails it. Nails it. Love it. Fred.
Knicker Elastic King. Very funny lyrics, like the middle bits. Even some of the naughty bits, but it's Sgt. Pepper. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Now that I think about it, it has a Sgt. Pepper vibe to it. So, yeah, just again, brilliant stuff. Mark.
Well, just for American listeners, if they don't know what Knicker Elastic is, that's the waistband around your underwear. It's not the short pants that people call it in the U.S., which has nothing to do with British knickers. But anyway, so again,
knickers means underwear. Just for those who don't understand, because here in Australia we know what knickers are.
Yeah, but in U.S., most people don't refer to that as underwear. They call it underwear. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know jumpers. Have you heard of the word jumper?
Yeah.
A jumper's a pullover. We
Yeah.
call it jumpers here, okay?
We could go all day about different.
Don't worry, let's carry on. So what do you think of
Anyway,
the
I
song?
love this song. I'll keep it short, and we can move on to the next track. I love you, and I don't mean
I love you too.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it? Right, I love you. What do you think of I love you, Mr. Champa? I'm sure got a lot of people out there that do love you. They watch this show just to want to see your hairstyle there.
Yeah. Well, this song reminds me of the song "And I Love Her" Till There Was You, and they use bongos and claps just like the Beatles, and the classical guitar sounds beautiful in that song. Is it Ricky Fatar that's singing that song?
I think he does.
Yeah.
Because I can always tell it's not Neil. You know, it's
Right.
It's got to be Ricky. And Ricky was from South Africa. He could play drums, guitar, bass. He was multi-talented, like Charlie.
Still,
Right.
no, but he still is multi-talented. He's been playing with Bonnie Raitt. I'm sure you guys talked about that. He's been
Yeah,
with Bonnie
Beach
Raitt's
Boys.
band for
Beach
years.
Boys.
Beach Boys.
Boys. Yeah, this has got that. Yeah, and I Love Her. I mean, it's a perfect kind of analogy song for this one. It's smooth and beautiful writing. I mean, really, if this wasn't a Rutles song, if somebody else did this song, you know, it as long as they did a great performance of it, it's just a great tune.
Charlie, I don't know where you're looking, but your sound is going somewhere else. Your eyes are going in one direction, your voice is going in another.
What?
Now that's middle there. Look at this. I'll tell you where I am. Where you're looking now is where I am, and you're talking the other way, and your voice is coming down low. Why's that?
Look into where the lens is.
That's where we are, right there.
The microphone's right there.
Oh, I see you.
All right. So if you can talk that way, we can actually hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Turn up your
How long
volume
has it been
again,
since
Charlie.
I've
We're
been on this
losing you,
show?
man. I don't know what's happening out there in Florida.
Anyways, it's my turn, right?
Where's he gone?
He went away.
Hello, Fred.
Okay. Well, I Love You. Again, it's a homage to the 1964 Beatles. It has that, that acoustic in there. And it could be like, And I Love Her and songs of that nature. So again, they did a.
How about With You and Without You?
Well, we haven't gotten to that one yet. We're getting to Within You and Without You.
That's a joke, Fred. That's a joke.
Ha! But yeah, but no, it's a good song, and it's a good like I said, homage to the Beatle love songs from that period. Mark.
Yeah, I think it's like a combination of And I Love Her and If I Fell, which both kind of have similar sounds, one written by Lennon, one written by McCartney. So, and, during that time, that was the crux of what the Beatles were kind of composing. It was a little later that they started branching out to other things, of course, probably with the aid of a little chemical help. But anyway, but this, I agree with Charlie, if he ever comes back, that this I Love You could just be a good song for anybody to cover. You don't even have to say it's the Rutles. Just say, I have this great song to sing, and it could be a hit for anybody now.
Hey, Charlie might be cleaning his computer lens. You never know, or setting up again. Now, let me tell you, Eine kleine middle class music. That's a good song if you speak German, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, there's no question that they're trying to come together. You can hear it in the drumming, and a bit of Dear Prudence in there. People don't realize that Neil Innes didn't get very long to write these songs, probably about 3 weeks. So he wrote a lot of songs real quick, and I think that's the best way to write. When you take too long, it's just too long, When you do it quick, you can get a lot done. So that's what my opinion is. Fred?
I think it goes back to, I guess, the real Beatles Hamburg days, and it's a clever song. It's good, I tell you, it's good. It's a good song. I like it. Okay.
Fantastic, Mark. That's you.
Well, nobody said it yet, but maybe nobody here is a classical music fan. But the title kind of is a riff on Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Ein kleine Nachtmusik. So that's where it's coming from, a little night music. And of course, if you've heard of PDQ Bach, who made an entire career, he's still around, of parodying classical music, that's like a title he would come up with too. So I think they were kind of giving a little nod to a fellow person inspired by a type of music. I'm sure PDQ Bach was in Neil Innes's mind when he was helping, or all their minds when they were composing these. So anyway.
Right, next song, Joe Public. I like Joe Public.
Yeah.
It's not Joe Private, it's Joe Public. What do you think of it, Mr. Shampoo?
Well, you know, like I said, all these songs have references, and it's fun to figure out what they're trying to convince you what they're trying to do. Joe Public, it's got definitely Tomorrow Never Knows, you know, backwards guitar, rain. So it's chock full of the Beatlistic tricks. So that's the fun part about being a collector and a Beatles fan, to laugh at, you know, they're making fun of the Beatles, and it's a private joke for all us fans, you know. Fred?
Joe Public, I love this song. It's great. It's definitely Tomorrow Never Knows, and it's almost like a direct copy without being a direct copy. And I just love the way they put it together, you know, with all the little bitties that you hear in the original Tomorrow Never Knows. And are you guys aware of the Rutles Lunch album?
No, tell us.
Lunch is a takeoff of the Beatles' Love, and you can actually look it up on the internet, and you can find it on YouTube. But they took the same thing as the Beatles' Love and did a crossover of these Rutles songs, just like you hear it in Love.
Like a mashup?
Yeah, mashups, exactly, mashups. And they did that with Joe Public. They matched it up with Nevertheless from the first Rutles album, because in Love it's a mashup of Tomorrow Never Knows and Within You Without You. So you got to look it up. The Rutles Lunch.
Yeah.
It's funny, and you'll love all the little references, and they cover both.
What's part two? The Rutles Dinner.
Yeah. There actually is another one, Rutles Live, which you could also find. But Joe Public, great song, love it.
Right, let's keep it going. Come on, Mark.
Yeah, you did say that they did the mashup with Nevertheless, and yeah, Joe Public kind of reminds me of that song in a certain way as well. So, you know, they're kind of not only being inspired by the Beatles, but by the other Rutles album by this point, which is not a bad thing. Why not? You know, what worked before will work again. So, yeah, another great tune.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Let's move on to the next one, Shangri-La. That's a beauty.
That was the hit.
Mr. Shampoo, Mr. Shangri-La.
Well, Plastic, have you ever seen the video?
Yeah, I have.
Well, Neil Innes is wearing a gray wig, Beatles wig. I don't know why he did that, probably to realize that it was 20 years later, but at the end of the video, there's a lot of famous people in there. There's Cyndi Lauper. There's the Mop Tops doing the Rutles.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't remember, but I saw the list the other day. But there's probably about 20 people in there.
I recall seeing Cyndi Lauper, Al Jardine, from California. They showed Paul Williams and Pat Boone.
Exactly. You would never think these people were in the video, but they were.
And there are some lookalikes too of I think Howard Stern.
That's right.
Cher and Rod Stewart. They're not the real ones. They're lookalikes, unless maybe Howard Stern was real. I'm not sure.
And I think
anyway, Charlie DeCosta, if you're watching, we'd like you back on the video here. We'd like the real Charlie DeCosta back on.
Why?
I think it was the last time that the three Rutles were seen, you know, in film, and so it's kind of a sad. But I think it was great that they made that video, especially for for the album. I mean, you didn't
Right,
have
let's keep it moving. Mark, what do you think?
Well, I love the song, but I'll give a little history about it. It actually had an earlier origin than any of this album, because when Eric Idle came back to Saturday Night Live, he brought Neil Innes with him. He played Cheese and Onions. Later in the show, he played Shangri-La live on stage. And he put it out as a Neil Innes solo track. The album is called Taking Off. I don't have the album with me, so that's what the album cover looks like. That album came out in 1977, so it's pretty similar but different. So if you want to hear another version of it, seek that album out. If you want to hear yet another version, the live version, get the Saturday Night Live DVDs. Just fantastic. Homage to Hey Jude, Isn't It a Pity? That type of long, drawn out song that gets everybody singing.
Right. It's definitely got that Hey Jude vibe to it and all that. And the video is hysterical. You got to watch it because of all the little clips from the original Rutles film, plus all the guest stars that you see in there.
Right, 2 songs to go. Let's keep it moving now. I might end up getting my breakfast. Right, don't know why, Mr. Shampoo.
Well, these last 2 songs, I don't know them as well as other ones, but it sounds to me a bit like Free as a Bird and Sexy Sadie. Does that sound right, Fred?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, you want me to continue?
Yeah, go on, continue, Fred. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Don't know why. Definitely it's the Free as a Bird on this album. And you could hear it, and it's sort of like a reminiscence of that period that leads into the last song, but "Free as a Bird" is definitely the reference in this in that song. Mark,
right, Mark.
Yeah. They have a couple other lyrical callbacks like "Hello, Goodbye," "Norwegian Wood," things like that. And I have nothing else to say other than it's a great tune. So keep it moving.
Fantastic. Last song. Let's do the big rap. It's another, as I said, great Rutles CD. Just play the first one. Play this one, the second one. Let's bring Rutlemania back again. Mr. Shampoo back in 64. I like it. Go for it.
Well, Plastic, all the Rutles albums were, you had Tragical History Tour, you had Let It Rot. Archaeology is Past Masters. That's what they modeled this album over. You can see it. It's black and Past Masters. And I do believe some of the Japanese pressings have different songs on that. Is that right, guys?
Yeah. When I get to it, I'll mention them.
Yeah. And this song, back in 64, reminds me of, Maxwell Silver's Good Night, When I'm 64. Those are the references that I got. How about you, Fred? So what did you get out of it?
I love this song. It's a bittersweet song because it sort of sums up the feelings that Beatle fans would have. Any fan of a group from the 60s, particularly the Beatles, could relate to this song because now we're all older. I'm 65, and I've got children and stepchildren, grandchildren, and I have a little great niece who's getting into the Beatles, which is cool. And I even showed her like Yellow Submarine, which she liked. But you kind of hope that the younger generation will carry on liking the Beatles and maybe sharing their favorite stuff with later generations. Because once we're gone, we don't know how long the Beatles are going to be popular or whatever. You never know. I mean, the Beatles would be considered our generation classical music, just like a Mozart or Beethoven or Brahms and all that. Their music still exists. It's still been listened to hundreds of years later. So we can only hope that in 100 years from and more from now, the Beatles will still be listened to. So that's, I think, what that song touches on.
I think they should make a band for the Monkees, but like the Rutles. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to do something like that.
What do you think, Plastic?
Yeah, I think so too.
Mark has to go.
All right. So I'll wrap it up by saying back in 64, a good callback song. It also reminds me of the unreleased McCartney track called Return to Pepperland in a certain respect. So I love it. It's a good way to end the album. But my album has more, so I'll mention really quickly.
But there's more.
Lullaby, which I don't really have anything to talk about because it didn't mention it separately. But and then Baby Cebu Play, which is actually a live track, live in Belgium, it says. And then It's Looking Good, which apparently is an alternate version of the version that's on the original Rutles album, or the And then the last one is My Little Ukulele, which is an homage to, because George and Paul both love to play the ukulele. So there we go.
There is another song that's, I think, the British reissue of Archaeology. Let me see.
I don't have it.
Give me a second, guys. Called Rutles. Rutles is the song. And
Rutles, yeah. That one was added much later. I think you can download these. So
right, and it's like a melody of all the big Rutles songs.
Fantastic. And I just want to say thank you guys for being on the Plastic EP panel. We did the Rutles too. Now I want to tell you, the celebration starts from now. There's 10 shows to go. The big countdown starts after this show. Thanks for showing the Rutles. Now we're showing the cake. Now, this art was done by Greg Vutzes, right? He's a great artist there. He does a lot of monkey stuff, does a lot of great things. The big countdown is starting from now. 10 shows to go to Plastic EP's 500 show. What do you say?
We say happy 500th, Plastic EP.
It's going to be a ripper. It's going to be a ripper.
It's going to be a ripper. All right, for everybody out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. See you soon. Wave goodbye to your friends there.
Bye, Charlie. Bye, Charles.
See you, Charlie.